Oh, yeah. Breather. 3, 2. Bedtime? Bye.
Goodbye.
Say night-night.
Night-night, baby.
Micky's ready for bed?
What do you mean?
All riled up.
Now that you gave him a shot of adrenaline, yeah, I'm sure he's ready for bed.
Night-night, baby. Mwah.
Okay. We're back.
Hello.
Hello.
We are very happy to be back.
Oh my goodness. It feels like it has been so long.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 weeks, but holy moly.
Yeah. It's been... We have just had so many experiences and so much stuff that we wanted to share, but life was just
In the
way, which is fine. So we've just really been looking forward to this opportunity.
Yeah.
We're finally here. We're in the bedroom.
How many
where
times
it all happens.
did I look at you this week being like, we need to record a podcast. We need to record a podcast.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks. And it just feels so good to do this. So it's like,
Yeah.
It's just really nice. So welcome back to our manifestation journey. It's very nice to have you.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been listening so far and are continuing to listen, we say thank you so much.
Yes, because there are a lot of different podcasts out there, and you chose to listen to us.
Yeah.
And we are extremely grateful for that. We don't take that lightly.
Not at all.
No.
I just saw 111 on the recorder, which means I think we should mention that today is November 11th.
That's right.
Which for us is just a big day. It's just a big day for the manifestation world.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at any Instagram account that says anything about manifestation, they're like, today's the day.
Mm-hmm.
There's like
It's
all
kind
this
of-
inspirational stuff.
It's kind of like New Year's,
It is like New Year's.
because especially when it's 11 in the afternoon or whatever,
In
like
the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, in the morning. It just feels like you are in a really aligned position to really focus on your intentions and your manifestation, and yeah, it's a good day.
11/11 on 11/11.
Yeah, it's all good.
I took a moment today. It looked like I was praying at my desk when Sam sent out a message to me and some friends just saying, it's 11/11, and so I was just like, yep. So I just put everything down and took a minute to just manifest everything I want. Actually, it took 2 minutes. So it was 11:14 when I came out of it, but
Yeah, it's been a good, interesting day.
yeah. Yeah, Sam's neck is currently out.
Yeah, my neck went out this morning, so I've been basically vertical for this whole day.
Vertical, horizontal.
Horizontal.
Yeah.
Also, this is probably why I'm not making any sense.
You're not making any sense. It's okay, that's why I'm here.
Oh, God, thank God.
Yeah.
It's also my wedding anniversary today.
You're sort of.
So I had a wedding. We're not going to go into a wedding story, but
No,
basically
we'll get into that in another
I had 2 weddings.
Another time.
One was abroad, and I consider that to be like my actual wedding.
Yeah.
But I didn't legally get married.
No.
Then when I came home, we had a legal ceremony with friends who couldn't go abroad.
Right.
So legally, today is my wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I haven't said that to you yet.
I have not celebrated at all. And I was expecting to, because it's snowing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I expected Nick to come home early or not to go to work at all.
Right.
And that we could like hang out.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No.
My neck went out.
Yeah.
And Mason had to stay with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been lying in bed.
Yep.
Most of the day.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It's also our grandparents' anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to know
Speaking
that they're kind
of
around us. Oh my goodness.
This is why.
That's a good segue.
It is a good segue. Okay. Our grandparents were amazing.
Yep.
We grew up with them.
Yeah.
We were raised by them. We went traveling with them. We spent so much time with them.
We weren't raised by just them.
No, but we were like they
lived
they
with
were a very important part of our childhood.
Yeah, we saw them every day.
They were older grandparents, so most kids our age had younger grandparents who could like pick them up after school. Yeah, this was not the case.
No,
our grandparents were much older.
Well, Nana had mom when she was 40.
40. Papa was almost 50.
Yeah.
They had kids who had kids.
Right. So, and then mom didn't have us till she was 30. So like.
Right. So.
You do the math.
Yeah. So, we
had quite the week. Not like this last week, but the week before. It's been 2 weeks, and it's been killing us not to do a podcast. But we're gonna fill you in. So yeah, the week before last week was quite the
spiritual.
We were calling it like Spirit Week or something.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that's what they used to call it in high school when they do like. There'd be like Pajama Day, or
right?
Like,
Spirit Week.
It was Spirit Week.
It was very spiritual.
End with a pep rally.
Yeah, it wasn't this
not
type
like that.
thing, but we started before we get to our grandparents. Though we started the week, the spiritual week, with Reiki.
Yes.
And we had both scheduled a Reiki session on the same day. So Micki was first, I was second.
Yeah, we were within like half an hour of each other or something.
Yeah.
By our friend. She's lovely. Should we give her a shout out?
Sure.
Probably give her a shout out.
Yeah.
Her name is Skylar. And she has a new business. The Vitality Way.
That's right.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Skylar. If you're listening, hello. Happy 11 day to you. This is like her favorite day. So yes, we both went and saw Skylar. And for me, it was like a really cool experience.
Tell us about your experience, Micki.
Don't mind if I do, Sam. So, yeah, it was pretty, like, third eye opening. Ayo.
Oh my God.
That was a bad joke.
Yeah.
No, it was really amazing. It was really cool. Skylar's very interesting Reiki practitioner in that she not only like reads and like analyzes or like cleanses your chakras, but she's also kind of a medium. That's not something that I was expecting from a Reiki session. So she like has these visualizations when she's clearing your chakras, and then she kind of just tells you about them. And mine were pretty cool. Like she said there was a unicorn at my third eye, which was
so cool.
So cool. Like, who gets that? And then, excuse me, we looked it up. I feel like I should look it up. But it said something about, like, I'm looking it up on my phone, so I kind of sound like I'm delayed here. But it said something like, you've been blessed kind of with the unicorn as being sort of like a magical sort of being, and that it represents something about wisdom. I'm not saying this right, but I can pull it up here. Okay. Often considered the most wondrous of all mythical creatures, the unicorn is also a symbol of magic, miracles, and enchantment. The magical and enchanting unicorn appears only to a rare few and has the ability to bestow magic, miracles, and wisdom to those who are pure of heart and virtuous in their deeds.
I love that.
Ayo. So that was cool. And that was new to Skylar too. She's like, she's never had a unicorn pop up in her session. So that was neat. And then, neat? Is that not a cool word?
No, that's great.
Am I not cool?
No, that's fine.
I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
Neat. And then, she, actually, this part's really interesting. She got down to the, like, where the baby is, and she said, I feel like I had a conversation with your baby. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Because I do believe that you know, of course there's my inner being, but then of course I'm housing this second inner being that's being built in my body at the same time, which is quite the cool phenomena. So yeah, she's like, I think I had a conversation with your baby. And she said, she's like, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to, like, I don't know. Like, she's like, I don't want to, like, get your hopes up or whatever. But she said, this baby has a lot of feminine energy. And I'm like, yeah, we don't know the gender of the baby or the sex of the baby yet. But we've been thinking that it's feminine as well. Like, just the energy that we're getting in the dreams that I've had and all that. And she said, yeah, she's like, if this is a boy, it's a very feminine boy. Like, I've been feeling the same thing. She also said that I needed to get more healthy fats into my diet, so I'm working on that. Skylar. I'm eating chia seeds and pumpkin seeds every morning. So then when she got back up around to my third eye again. She did also say that all of my chakras are balanced. Which was really cool. She's like, she said that she hadn't had that with a client at that point, up until that point.
That's cool.
Before. So she said, keep up with your meditation because I think that's working. But then when she got up to my third eye again, she went around me twice, like feeling all my chakras twice. She said my heart chakra was really open and my throat chakra was, she said that I really needed to, like, use my voice and get my voice out there. And so I'd mentioned something about the podcast, and she was like, yeah, keep doing that. Like, there's something about your voice that you need to sort of keep projecting. So I was like, cool, great, we're working on that. That's awesome. And then she got back up to my third eye again, and she's like, okay, this is really weird because I haven't thought of this person since like high school. But she's like, Mary Magdalene is like hardcore, like, coming out right now. Like, she was present. And I laughed because, like, I haven't talked or thought about Mary Magdalene since, like, the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
When was that? Like,
That was in high school.
2009 or something? 2008?
Yeah.
2007 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, a while ago. So I thought that was really interesting. Like, why would Mary Magdalene show up? And then I started looking into it a little bit, and it said something about, like, feminine divinity and feminine teachings, because Mary Magdalene was a supportive source of Jesus, I guess. Like, she was, like, his bestie.
Right.
And would, like, help him and counsel him and stuff. So it was talking about, like, the balance between masculine and feminine energy, and how the feminine divinity or feminine divine energy is starting to kind of rise. And I don't know, being some sort of teacher or having some sort of wisdom to do with that.
What I like about that is that obviously that's within you, that your divine feminine energy is rising, but I do feel that way as a planet. I think that there's like
the future is female.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a cliche to say that now, but you can, that's my feeling, that's my thought, is that it's out with the active, action oriented, progress, moving forward. Like, not that we don't want to move forward, but it's more going along the lines of new age, open to receiving, allowing, just there's definitely more of a reflection, thinking, introspection. There's definitely more divine feminine energy coming into this world. Yeah,
because it's been kind of out of whack masculine wise for a long time.
Yeah, so you could say that, I guess.
You could say that.
Yeah.
I think the feminine energy needs to kind of rise a little bit more and balance it out. I don't think we should wipe out the masculine energy.
Definitely not.
Like, that's not going to do anybody any good, but I think having a balance is a good thing. So yeah, and that was Skylar's kind of intuitive feeling with all of it. Like, she's saying, getting your voice out there and maybe reaching people from a feminine, I don't know, perspective might be good. I didn't understand the really full context of it. But I will say something really cool that happened, because when I was lying on the table, which was kind of funny in itself just because I'm so pregnant. So, like, she didn't have enough pillows and stuff. So, yeah, it's fine. It was, like, by the end of it, my lower back was, like a gong show. But anyway, it was good. Skylar did everything she could to make me feel comfortable. But while I was lying there, Skylar was, she kind of moves around the table, and you're kind of zoning in and out because it's so relaxing, and there's this beautiful music, and it's just, like, very calming and relaxing and just chill, I guess. And, she was on my left side. Excuse me. And then she, as far as I was concerned, moved to my right side, and she had her hands over my heart chakra. And then all of a sudden I felt movement on my left side, and she was still there. So I felt someone move to my right side and put their hands over my heart, which scared the crap out of me, because as soon as she moved on my left, I was like, oh.
She wasn't there.
Right. Like, I thought she was on my right, but she wasn't on my right. She was on my left.
Yeah.
And so I asked her about that, of course, and Skylar's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Mary Magdalene. I was like, what is going on? What do you mean? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. So, very, very interesting. Like, that's super, super interesting to me. And honestly, later in the week, I found out a little bit more about that.
Right.
In multiple ways, but we'll get to that. But it was it was a really, really cool experience. She said, as I was leaving, she said she saw wings on my heart chakra, which means, like, earth angel. And I told her I had actually pulled that card in my divine guidance cards that morning. But yeah, it was a really, really good experience, and I thought she's just very talented, and yeah, I'll be going back again. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And then yours was just after mine.
Yes. So, yeah, I went in right after Micki, and I had never done a Reiki session before with Skylar. This was my first one. Micki had been before. Several of my friends had gone before. And I don't know, like, she explained the process of what she does. So she kind of relaxes you and goes through your chakras, and then tells you about what she experienced after, which was kind of cool. She was saying that my chakras were all aligned except for one, but it was really easy to clear out. Like, it was just like, it didn't require a lot of work. It's really interesting because I definitely felt that energy was moved, because where she did clear it there was sensation there, and there was, like, almost like a pain there. So I thought that was interesting. And she had told me what she was experiencing, but I can't even remember what she told me. And she did record it, so thank goodness, actually, that she did record it.
So you can listen back on it at some point.
Right.
That's good.
But I don't know why, but I wasn't, like, overwhelmed by awe.
Right.
I was just like, okay, like, I just took everything she said, and I wasn't, like, blown away by it. So yeah, like, I guess it was a good experience, but I guess I was expecting something earth-shattering to happen or something. I don't know. Like, I was expecting more from it. So yeah, I was interested to hear your perspective. The one thing I will mention is that I had this similar experience to you, which was she was on my right side.
So same. Yeah. Oh no, the other.
The other way.
Side, yeah.
Wait a minute. If she was on. She was on your right side.
She was on my left, but I thought she was on my right, but she was actually on my left when she moved
So
again.
Never mind. Someone was on your heart chakra on your right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You didn't feel them on your actual heart.
No.
Because your heart's on your left.
Well, their hands were over my chest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, my point is, Skylar was on my left, and I felt somebody on my right. So I thought she was on my right. I thought Skylar was on my right. But then I felt her on my left. So I was like, what? So then I opened my eyes, and I was like, I jumped because I was like, okay, I felt somebody on this side. I felt them almost like touch my arm, like, or almost like knock the table with their body up against me. So I thought that was kind of interesting that we both had that experience.
Yeah. She said that's not uncommon, though. Like, she said that she finds that quite a few people feel more than one person in the room.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean that's not... What?
Yeah.
That in itself is, like, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about it, but I think which we will get into, which our next adventure that we went on. I've been to psychics, I've been to mediums, I've been to a Reiki master. I've done a bunch of different spiritual stuff. And I love what they're saying. I love what they're talking about. I'm on board. But I'm not really experiencing it for myself. Like, I didn't hear these voices that they were listening to.
Right.
It's all based on what someone else is telling me.
Right.
And I don't believe they're lying to me.
No.
But it's not as impactful as it would be if you were hearing it for yourself.
Right. Or seeing it.
Right. If it's something where it's like, something that's like completely dead on, then that would blow my mind. Like if it was like, I don't know, if they could predict something that was in my pocket, that there's no way that anyone would know what was in my pocket.
Right.
That would be more mind blowing to me, right?
This is your INTJ coming out, your scientist coming out. You need like evidence.
Yeah, it just doesn't, like, there's not enough weight for me on that, So, like, it was just another experience in my spiritual book. It wasn't anything wasn't a negative experience by any means.
No.
It was just another leaflet and little page to go into my book.
I wonder if that has something to do with like our personalities and what we're willing to sort of open our mind to, or because like you're INTJ and I am INFJ.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm feeling. Right? You're thinking. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like, I wonder if I'm more like
feelings.
Yeah.
Feeling feelings for you is evidence because they're so strong.
That's right.
So that's how you're convinced because like you feel it and like that's real to you.
Right. Exactly. Whereas you need proof.
Right. Like
you need scientific evidence.
I'm not I'm not as strong as a feeler.
Right.
I need more evidence, like I always need, if someone tells me something outrageous that happens, right? Like I'm always the nerdy person that's just like, oh, but what did they mean? Like nobody cares. Everyone's just I want to get to the bottom of this.
Face value.
Right? Like I always like nobody cares. That's not the point of the story, but I'm like searching for an explanation for this thing,
Yeah.
So definitely nerdy that way. But so the next day,
well, I just want to talk about one thing quick.
Okay.
It was 2 days later, but I'll just talk about one thing quick.
Okay.
One thing I do want to mention is on this topic of feelings.
Yeah.
Skylar did say to me, like, you've been doing a lot of like releasing of negative energy. And I was like, yeah, because like I had 2 meditations.
Right. We all heard about
my crazy meditations.
Sobbing at your desk and
yeah yeah, all of that stuff and like all the crazy stuff I've been kind of working on and digging deep and finding and crying about. And so she said, I helped clear some more of that energy. Like, she's like, I wanted to help. Because she said your chakras were balanced, but I forget the term that she had. She's gonna hear this and be like, it's this, but like, it's like a channel or something from your chakra that like where the energy is released. So she said she could like, she was trying to help release that energy through those channels. And so she was like, you know, dragging some of the energy away, and then she would like kind of sew them up with like a really cool Reiki symbol. I don't know. It was cool. Anyway, so that was like appreciated. And she said, you might feel a little bit more intense in the next couple of days. So just be prepared for that. And I'm like, oh my God, I've already felt so intense. That's like weakened some. Like, it's okay. Well, what else? What else is this going to look like, you know? And sure enough, even that night, I was like on such a high when I got home. And then it was like a couple hours later and I crashed. Like, I just cried for like a good chunk of time. I guess, which, you know, now you're learning about me. We're 4 podcasts in. You guys realize by now how emotional I am. But yeah, I had a good cry that night. And even the next couple days, I was feeling a huge kind of roller coaster ride of emotion. I guess you could argue that's going to go on for a little while, but it's been something that I'm kind of working through, and I guess is in my future here with all the stuff we're doing. It's going to be a constant sort of work in progress to keep clearing those negative memories or the things that on a, you know, cellular level that I'm holding on to that I need to kind of let go of. So I'm still working on it. But anyway, so 2 days later, 2 nights later, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought we could do something fun. We didn't celebrate Halloween at our house. It was one of the worst storms we've seen in a while that night. Like, crazy wind, crazy rain. Like, the next day, our whole city was like torn apart.
Right.
Like, every traffic light I went through was missing a traffic light or wasn't working. Trees were down. Like, the city was a gong show the next morning.
Yeah. And there's flooding.
Flooding everywhere.
Everyone's basements were flooded.
Our basement flooded.
It was
crazy.
Yeah. So that night.
Yeah, so that night.
The night of this massive storm.
Yeah. I decided to, I don't know, I thought it would be fun to like play with a Ouija board because it's Halloween and, you know, we didn't carve jack-o'-lanterns, we didn't dress up, like there's nothing that we did, but I'm like, this is kind of along the lines of what we're doing right now, like, why not give it a shot? Like, why not see, I don't know, I haven't touched a Ouija board since I was like 12, and it was at some sleepover, and I don't know, we didn't take it seriously.
No, like
someone in the room's clearly moving it, and like, it was just like a stupid little blah.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I thought, we've got all the tools that we got when we were in Salem. We've got like the sage, and we've got like, you know, the purifying white candles and the incense. And I'm like, you know what? Like, why not? Like, let's just try this. Like, what's the worst that could happen? So we did. I mean, if you look at our Instagram, you can find a little bit about it.
There.
But yeah, we like saged the room and, you know, did all the things and kind of sat in a kind of quiet space and just invited.
Actually, on this bed that we're doing the podcast on.
Yeah, this is our now famous podcast room.
Yeah,
for now.
We had we had cleared the space of all negative energy and welcomed in new positive, happy energy. So like good vibes, welcome.
Yeah.
And we just made it really fun, lighthearted, and happy.
Yeah.
And that's how we began the Ouija board session. We had all the things around us that made us feel like we were in the presence of higher, I would say. So like stones and sage
crystals
and candles and books and just all the things that make us feel like we might be able to reach
inner beings or spirit guides
higher
or
selves or whatever,
loved ones. Or
so we're sitting across from each other. We've got this good setup, like the board's comfortably between us. And like based off of the instructions, we placed our fingertips on this white
Piece of plastic.
On a board with letters across it, and
Waited.
We recorded.
Yeah.
So audio recorded, and we waited for over 10 minutes. We didn't even talk to each other. We just...
I could probably add some of that audio in here, even just like the first like minute or something.
Well, yeah, like when it starts to get interesting.
Yeah, because it's 10 minutes of silence.
Obviously, you wouldn't put that on there.
I wouldn't put that on there, but yeah, no. I could maybe like, we could just say, and here is the moment where the piece of plastic started to move. Pause.
Is that your setup for this?
That's my setup.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna happen right now. I'm gonna lift my elbows because I'm starting to slip. That's how far it's going.
Oh, you lift your elbows in.
There we go. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Are you doing that?
No, I'm not pulling at all.
What? For real?
Yeah. I told you my fingers aren't even on it. I told you this would happen. You'd be like, I'm not...
What is going on? Really?
I'm not pulling it.
Okay.
Like, my fingers are hardly even on it.
Okay, me neither. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay. You're not doing that. Don't laugh.
I'm laughing because...
Okay. What's it gonna do now? Can't. Don't laugh. For the record, it's on the 3. Don't laugh!
I can laugh, I'm allowed.
Well, it's gonna shake it.
It doesn't mind, it loves me. This is crazy, I've never done this before.
Me neither, and it's happening. How do people do this? It's such a workout.
My elbow's still resting on my...
Mine's not. Whoa. Whoa. Do you believe this right now? Do you believe it? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I get goosebumps all over my body. Oh.
I can't move any further because this thing's in the way.
Okay. Okay, it did 3-0.
Okay.
That's all Sam is.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. So, that moment when it started to move, both of us were like, because we talked about it beforehand, like, we're going to think the other person's moving it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's no point in doing it. Like, I obviously trust Sam and she trusts me. So there's no point in setting this thing up if we're not going to actually go for it.
And why would I wait 10 minutes?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Why would you wait 10 minutes? Like, you would just move it if you wanted to move it. You wouldn't move, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was prepared for it not to work.
Yeah,
and
me
give
too.
Up. But I also was willing to wait for however long
yeah.
Until it worked. I don't know. It was kind of a weird decision, I guess. But I knew that we would be like, or that you would be like, you would say, you're moving it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But once it started to move, it freaking moved.
Yeah. Well, it was really slow at first. Like, super slow.
But it wasn't, like, jumpy. Do you know? Like, it was smooth. It might have been slow, but it was smooth. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a continual movement. It wasn't like move here, stop, move here, stop.
And the
It was
question we
just,
asked was, how old is Sam?
right,
And there's numbers along the bottom. So it went to 3 and then it went to 0.
right.
And we were like, oh.
I was laughing. So once it started moving towards the 0, after it went to the 3, I was starting to laugh.
Well, both of us were.
And Mickey's like, stop laughing.
Well, because it would shake, or I'm like, don't scare it away. Like,
Yeah.
you know, once we got into it, though, we were just talking and laughing all the way through it because the energy was so powerful that we could.
Right.
We didn't feel like we were scaring it away.
It was
2.5 hours is how long we spent on it.
Yeah, like
was
the
so
next
addictive.
question, you know, like the next question was, are you having a girl?
Yeah.
And it
said-
just went to,
it like flew over. And
went
it
to yes.
swooped. It wasn't direct. Like it would like kind of gracefully like glide, but then like do like a rounded kind of swoop to yes.
right. It did that, yeah, like it would do that. If it wanted to move across the board, it would swoop over to across the board. It wouldn't go directly to where it
No.
wanted to go. It would spin a little bit too.
Yeah, the
Like,
arrow would spin.
honestly, it was insane. Like, it was fucking insane.
Yeah, it really was.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, guys, it was fucking moving.
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep up with it. So, like,
Yeah.
basically what was happening was we were asking questions, and it got faster and faster at responding to us.
Mm-hmm.
And the more comfortable we were able to follow it around better. But, like, it caught us off guard, and, like, we would slip off of it. And, like, it was so intense and so exciting. It was definitely a game changer for me. Like, to feel that energy moving, this thing, I was just like, what is this? Like, this isn't explainable.
No.
How is this moving?
Yeah.
There's no explanation for this. There's no...
Scientific, popular.
And, like, scientists would be like, well, clearly one of you was moving it.
Right.
You know? Like, neither of you are
Well,
going to
we brought in Mason at one point, my husband, because we were like, you need to witness this because we're going to tell people and they're not going to believe us. And so he came in, and I don't even remember the question we asked, but it was moving. And then I'm like, you need to get on here because you need to feel this. Like, you need to feel this thing move on its own. And so he came in and he asked if he could speak to his grandpa. And it started to move, and he was like, he was really, this is going to sound, you know, he was moved by it. Like, he was like, you know, he's like, he said he was choking back tears. Like, he couldn't really believe it. And he said himself, he's like, this challenges everything I've ever kind of believed or thought.
Right.
Like, this is really confusing to me, and I don't even know. And I guess he spent the next day, like, Googling explanations as to how Ouija boards work.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Something to do with subconscious vibration, and, like, I don't even know.
I think, and so I started to look up reasons, whatever, and I'm like, you know what? All of these explanations for it don't make any sense, and people are grasping at straws.
That's how I feel, too. I'm like,
to
isn't
try
the
to
simplest
explain
explanation just that it's source? Can't that just be the simplest explanation?
Yeah, it can
and
be.
Mason's like, no, that's crazy, because we had a big conversation about it the next day.
Right.
Going over it.
Yeah,
to see his
but it
parents,
is crazy. Like, okay,
Yeah.
so you get out a plastic thing and
Put it on a piece of cardboard.
put it on a piece of cardboard, and like
Letters.
that'll get you what?
Yeah.
Like, no, how does that make sense? It doesn't. It's just the only explanation is that we were talking to freaking people. Like, we should be talking about who we were talking to, actually.
Yeah, we should. Well, I think I said, how many, like, are there multiple spirit guides right now? And it said yes. And then I said, okay, can I have a name of one of them? And guess what it came up as? Mary. Mary. And I look at Sam and I'm like, as in Mary Magdalene? Like, no way. So I said that. I asked, I'm like, is this like Mary as in Mary Magdalene? And then it took, like, the plastic, like, went kind of crazy. It, like, flew over to yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, like, whoa. as if we were like, wow, thanks. Like, isn't there like so many
Some
other
other
places?
Yeah, exactly.
You could be right now.
Yeah.
And you're. I mean, I'm sure she can be in a million places at once. We're talking
Right.
about infinite intelligence, but we felt very honored. And then we asked her multiple questions, and she answered in Hebrew.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like we got a Hebrew answer.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember now. Again, I'd have to look it up. It was like.
And so we were like, we don't know
Yolon or
what that word
something.
means. Could you
Yeah.
repeat that? And then she did it again.
Yeah.
And then we asked her, we're like, okay, well, whatever. We don't know what she's trying to say. So then we asked her a different question, and then she repeated it again. And she was very aggressive about it. Like,
Yeah.
not in a mean way, but like
No.
in a way that was fast. Like, fast
Right.
answering.
Very sure answering.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we talked to Mary. Oh, wait, you're going to tell us what she was saying.
Yeah,
in
I'm
Hebrew.
trying to look it up right now on my phone to see. Yolam? Yalom?
Yolam.
Yalom. Yalom. I don't know.
It meant psychiatrist.
Yeah, there was like a name of, again, it was like another teacher. Like
Right.
another, something to do with psychology. I don't know. It was, it was pretty crazy. It meant something else though. Like the actual word meant, diamond. It's a famous psychiatrist, but the actual word means diamond.
Mm.
But it's also like a famous feminist, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary's all about the feminine divine energy.
Right.
That's a thing.
It also spelled your baby name.
Yeah, we asked because my husband and I have a baby name picked out if it's a girl, and it spelled that name.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole segue to this was our grandparents.
Yes.
So we asked if they were there,
Right.
and it said yes.
Yeah. We asked if our Nana was there, and it said
Yeah.
yes. And then we said, what does she want to tell us?
Mm-hmm.
Or what does Nana want to say?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so clever because obviously you're given the alphabet, right? So one of the songs that Nana and Papa used to sing all the time, and they'd argue about the lyrics, is called the Alphabet Song. And
Isn't it called A You're Adorable?
yeah, but
I think
in
that's what it's
brackets
called.
it's Alphabet
Oh, the
Song.
alphabet song.
Yeah.
Right.
So she goes to the A, and we both had the same thought, which
As soon as she went to the A, yeah.
I thought, how is she going to spell adorable? Like, how is she going to,
Right.
like, I thought she was going to do this song. I don't know why, I just felt that way.
I felt the exact same way. As soon as it landed on the A, I had the exact same thought, which is weird.
It is weird. We both had the same thought that she was trying to
Communicate
that song. And she started with A. So then she went M and Z.
And that's the way the board's set up. Like, it's from one side of the board to the other. So it was just
Like a zigzag.
Right.
Right.
From one corner to the other.
So she gets to the Z, and then she goes A, Z, A, Z. So basically, she's like telling us
The alphabet.
the alphabet, A to Z.
And then I think I said to you, does she mean the song?
Right.
And you're like, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then so I asked, do you mean the song?
Right.
And
It moved to yes.
Yeah. So basically, the song is like all the ways basically of saying of how I love you. So that was kind of the strategy there. It was
Right.
a way of saying I love you.
She's telling us that she loves us.
Yeah.
Which then then AZ became the symbol for love, which was kind of cute.
Yeah.
So if we asked like a
Papa.
previous loved one that's passed away, we
Yeah.
asked what they'd say, and they would say AZ.
Yeah.
So that kind of became our symbol for
Yeah.
I love you.
Which
Well,
was cute.
Yeah. So we got really good at it. We got really good at
Yeah.
asking questions, feeling comfortable, confident. Like
Mhm.
I could go to the bathroom and come back and like
Get right back into
get
the
right back
energy.
into it. Like it
Yeah.
was so easy, and it did take some practice, but once we got into it, it was really amazing. And we just spent hours to the point where we couldn't come up with any other questions, which is kind of surreal in itself. Like here, you're talking to people,
Infinite intelligence.
Whatever, infinite intelligence, or who, you don't even really know what you're dealing with, but you are. And you can ask a million questions and you run out of questions. So it's hilarious. But it was completely, I just couldn't describe it. Like the next day I was beside myself, just like, how is this a thing? And why don't more people talk about it? It's just so cool and exciting, and I can't wait to do it again. And it was a wonderful experience. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. It definitely wasn't the typical connotation that's associated with the Ouija board.
Right. Which is probably a good segue to your next part, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, no, fortunately. It's good. It all worked out.
That's right.
So a couple of days later, I had a reading scheduled with a medium over the phone. And I'd had a reading with her once before, and it was a gift from my mother-in-law to have this reading. It was a gift before as well. And so I was really psyched for this reading, because I was I've just had such a spiritual week, and it's just been so cool. And it would be really nice to just have some more kind of affirming, thoughts from someone who's reading my energy, even if it is from far away, and kind of getting in touch with my soul and seeing what I'm seeing, or, just giving me just a bit more support or confidence or whatever towards this journey that I'm on. So I was really excited about it, and I got up early that morning and, did a bunch of spiritual work. I was reading, I was journaling, and I was reading, and I was meditating, and I was doing all of these wonderful things, and I was just in such a good place. It was just such a mind-blowingly amazing spiritual week, and I just really enjoyed it. So anyway, I go in for this reading, and I wasn't in it for very long when I had, explained, I brought up the Ouija board, and the reaction that I got wasn't what I was expecting, and maybe that's my own,
I don't think so,
naivety, or I don't know how to say that, me being naive, but I was challenged quite quickly by the experience that I'd had with the Ouija board. I understand this is the experience of this particular medium, but they'd said, she's I don't want to parent you or mom you or, tell you to do anything, but I feel she's I'm feeling a nudge to tell you. It's like a tapping on my shoulder. I have to tell you that what I've heard from Ouija boards is that they can be quite dangerous, and you don't know who you're talking to, and you'll see lights flicker or doors closing, and you can bring a lot of negative energy into your home, and I really worry about that being around your unborn child and your baby. And this rattled me, and it was pretty early in the session. It was supposed to be an hour conversation, which got delayed, by the way, because I gave her the wrong number by accident, and so she couldn't get a hold of me, and then she finally did get a hold of me, and then it did cut out halfway through, and it was the communication was not all there, which I think is an interesting sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I honestly genuinely believe that she was trying to come from a place of concern, and it was of well intention. I honestly really do believe that. That's how it felt. But I was suddenly in a position where I had to question the experience that I had, and question my own beliefs, and question my own interpretation of our wonderful Ouija experience. And so I explained that to her too, like, because she was starting to talk about other things that she was reading about me, and I was so distracted by the original comment that I was like, I have to go back. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted, because the experience that I had was so positive and so lovely and so powerful and so much fun, and all I felt was positivity and excitement and eagerness and happiness and joy and laughter, and I don't understand how any of those experiences could be negative or dangerous for my children. And she persisted. Like, she went on to say, like, this is just my experience, this is just what I know, and I couldn't not say something. And she said, this is the part that, like, hurt me the most, I think. She said, it's your soul that told me to say it.
Right.
And that to me was really hard to hear, because at first I'm like, okay, is this my ego being defensive? Is this my ego, like, pushing back on this? And so she kept going on with the reading, because I just let it go. I didn't want to have an argument or anything. And I was feeling, of course, quite wounded and still defensive, but trying to be open-minded. But then the conversation ended pretty quickly after that. I think she could sense that I was just not having it. And so we got off the phone, and I, like, sobbed, like, ugly, like mouth gaping, those big breaths, and, like, where you, like, breathe out and you feel like you're not going to catch your breath, you're not going to breathe in again when you're crying. Mm-hmm. Like that, like 7 of those in a row.
Where?
This was happening at Mason's parents' house on.
Yeah, but, like, were you?
I was private.
In a closet?
No, I was at the very other end of the house, like in their master bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So nobody knew what I was doing, but I took an hour longer than it was supposed to be. Like, they'd made breakfast and it was cold by the time I got out there. Mm-hmm. Because I was crying for an hour. Really trying to get my thoughts together, trying to distract myself. But then I was like, no, like, I'm still really upset about this. And so I kind of got it together. I went out. Of course, the first question is, how was your reading? And I just kind of collapsed into Mason's arms, and I just could not stop crying. Oh. And so, like, we had breakfast, and I was still crying, and they were like, it's okay. And, like, they kind of knew that I had had quite the spiritual week anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think they just thought whatever was said was
right, like, you couldn't tell them anything. You were just crying.
Yeah, I couldn't talk.
Right.
So I think they just thought, like, oh, like, she's just having an emotional release, blah, blah, blah. They didn't realize that it was from something that the medium said that hurt me. Right. Right? Like, they thought it was like, oh, like, she's just working through some stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up crying a lot more. And then I started journaling about it, and that really helped, because I could get my thoughts all down, like, clearly on paper. And so I did. And what I realized was, it was the first time that I'd been challenged in a space that I really was not expecting to be challenged. Right. Like, this world that we're kind of embarking, this journey that we're embarking on in this world that we're moving into, of, like, spiritual, open-mindedness. Like, I just assumed that
it was a safe place.
I figured it would be a safe place to just talk about that experience and how much fun it was. Right. And instead I was met with
opposition.
Yeah, or like
challenge.
Not contempt, but like she was trying to scare me. Right. Like, she was trying to warn me. Right. About the decision that I'd made, and
fear was presented.
Fear. Yeah.
Which is not...
No.
It's supposed to... You always... based on our experience so far, it's definitely been driven by love.
Of course.
And there's been zero fear involved in this spiritual journey. Yeah. There's been zero guidance using fear. The guidance has always been love.
Yeah, it's just been this really warm, loving, embracing experience, and I haven't had any negativity at all. Right. And so when I was met with this, I was just like, whoa, like, it kind of slapped me across the face. And it honestly, at the end of it, after, crying a ton, and I sat with it, and I was journaling, and I was just like, okay, what I know about the ego and the inner being is, if you hear a message that feels negative, or you hear a message that feels like fear, that's not Source. Source doesn't give fear. Source gives love. So my inner being was telling me that the message that I had received was coming from someone else's fear, someone else's projection, someone else's experience, someone else's, interpretation. And it had nothing to do with what I had experienced, and it was just a projection. But of course, it sounds like blaming, or it sounds like, like, oh, they're crazy or whatever. But the more I sat with it, the more I was listening to this voice of love and this voice of, no, you're validated in how you felt, and don't deny that, and no, you did not put your children in danger, and no, you're not, you shouldn't feel guilty for that, because the experience was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So it really, at the end of the day, solidified even more the things that I already believe, and, challenged me in that way to just be like, no, like,
this is what I believe.
This is what I believe, and this is what I felt, and you weren't there. But like, it was just, no, like, it was, I refused to, because at first, when she first, like, the whole experience was tainted for me. Like, I was just like,
which makes me sad, because
it was such a cool experience.
Yeah. Like, that is not cool. Like, as an older sister, I don't know if this has an actual role in how I feel, but anyways, I definitely have this protective vibe in me. Like, I do like to defend and protect. You're
just not having that.
No. Like, when Micki was telling me this story, I was like, okay, like, bitch, please. Like, I actually had a reading from her, I don't know, like a year ago. And, she's a nice lady, whatever. Like, but I had said earlier in this
you need your
episode,
proof.
Yeah, and like, I just really wasn't buying what she was selling. I appreciated her messages, but I just wasn't into it. So I kind of checked her out, but who knows? Maybe she has a lot of success with other people, and she just didn't connect with me. But yeah, I was just like, there's no place for fear.
No.
In this world.
No.
As soon as fear now is my sign that there is an untruth here. Yeah. And fear has a great role in our lives. It keeps us safe, and I appreciate its role and
purpose.
I love fear in that way.
Right.
But I know that, based on what we've learned, that it's all based in love. And so if there is a hint of fear, then something doesn't smell right.
Right.
Something is off. So her threatening you and like just being a weirdo about it just doesn't align with what we think, how we feel, in our path.
And our beliefs.
So, like,
yeah.
And I know you know that. I know you know all these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, no. Like,
it was quite the blow. Just because I was in such an open, like, I was trying to be as open and receiving to messages as possible. Like, I'm pretty sure she said, is there anything you want to say, like, to start? And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to, like, receive. Like, I'm stoked, Like, I was just high vibing. Yeah. I was so excited and so happy and so open. And in that, so vulnerable. When someone was like, wham, like they just slammed me to the ground, and I was like, whoa, I was not expecting that at all. But I did talk to Bev about it afterwards, because I couldn't even talk to her because I was like crying so much, but like I showed her my journal, and she read it, and she was like, this makes a lot of sense to me. And she said, like, Bev has done like all the groundwork when it comes to spiritual stuff. Like, she's gone to like all these different spiritual retreats and all these different, like,
this is Mason's mom, I'm just
I think, we've said that in previous podcasts. I know,
but
you're right.
This is someone's first time.
Bev is my husband's mother. And she's been, like, helping us with this Abraham manifestation journey, because she's gone to a lot of different spiritual healers and leaders. Like, she's done the homework. And she said she's always come back to Abraham because Abraham is a message of love, and that feels the most real, and it feels the most aligned. Yeah, and it like feels really good. Like she said she's, you know, gone to some retreats where someone's healing someone at the front of the room, and they're holding their chest and someone else is holding their back, and you know, they're like, do you feel the negative dark spirits in the back of the room? Everyone move closer. And Bev's like, no, I don't feel that. Like, there's no place for that here. And she said she almost warned me going in about mentioning the Ouija board to a medium, because she said she's been met with negative connotations with it as well, because she used a Ouija board way back in the day and was told not to, right? So so she said, after reading the journal, and you know, where I had settled with all of it, and that I am actually grateful for the experience, because I know it was coming from a place of concern, right? Like, she was genuinely concerned, and that's just from her own experience and her own fear. So I can appreciate that, but I also know that it made me feel even more
solidified. Yeah,
like more confident and more aligned and more just sure of what I felt and what I think and what I believe, and that there, like you said, there's no place for fear here.
Right.
I don't believe in this journey that we're on, like, none of it is based in fear.
No.
And, you know, the Ouija board experience, I think it is like a controversial experience. People are going to have different reactions to it, right? Depending on what they feel and think and know and all of that jazz. But I would say for us, with the intentions that we had and the purity that we conjured, you know, like, I'm sure it could be used for negative, but I think that has to do with manifestation in general.
Right.
Like, if you're sitting there intending for a door to slam or lights to flicker,
right,
that's probably what's going to happen.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's the energy.
If you're nervous about that kind of stuff happening, like, you're calling it on, or you're manifesting that stuff, right?
Right.
And that didn't even really cross our minds.
No.
Like, we just were like,
there was no fear at all.
Let's talk to our loved ones. Let's talk to love. Let's
source.
Let's talk to source. I think that's kind of like what that was my intention, was to talk to source. So we never said anything out loud, but we definitely came to the board, the table, with that intention. We had that similar intention of speaking with love and discovering what we might discover, like, just really open-minded and happy. And so I'm glad that you worked through that. I'm glad that it solidified it for you. I really hope that it didn't, like, seriously change your perspective of the whole experience, because I can see how it would. Like, I can see how it might put a bad taste in your mouth with the whole thing. I totally get that. Like,
it's definitely, I don't see it the same way. I know. But it's okay. Like, I'm okay with it, because I'm still building off of it, and I'm using it as this lesson to kind of move forward. It's just framed differently in my head now. It's like, oh, now that was that experience where, remember, you were there. Remember what you felt. Remember, like, you need to remember these feelings, and you have to dig deeper to remember them, because someone has tried to take them from you. Right? And I feel like that's going to happen.
That's good practice.
It's great practice, because guess what? We're doing a podcast, and it's getting out there for the world, and people are going to be like, ladies, you crazy. And they're going to, like, hate on us, or, like, whatever. Like,
don't manifest that shit.
I think it's the reality of it, though. Like, it's like the bigger you get, the more, like, trolls come, like, bounding your way, you know? Like, it's just kind of the reality. So I thought it was
I'm
good
prepared
practice.
to ignore that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, absolutely. But it's inevitably going to come up. And it was, coming when I was in such a vulnerable position. And then it was like, whack. Like, I felt like I could handle haters on Insta. Like, that's no big deal. But
when you're talking to somebody.
It's supposed to be so.
Yeah.
So I think it was like the ultimate kind of first test. And I'm like, I cried a lot, but I think it was worth it. Because if I can handle that, I feel like I can handle whatever comes my way.
Right. The next thing.
It won't feel as bad.
Right.
The next thing, I dealt with this massive giant tidal wave first, so now all the little waves are just gonna be like, whatever. I got you.
Well, and then the other kind of cool part of this is that, yes, you know, our podcast is called Our Manifestation Journey. And because we live together, because we have very similar goals and manifestations, but at the end of the day, we are on our own journey. Like, I'm having a separate one than you are.
Right.
And I mean, that's kind of an obvious thing to say, but it's great for our listeners and for our podcast to have diverse experiences. So like my Ouija board experience was mind-blowing and amazing, and it was for you too, but you have an added layer to it for yourself, and that's for your own personal journey and your own development, where I didn't, knock on wood, haven't like come across that yet, you know, or I hope I don't have
it'll be a lesson that you'll experience in a different form.
Or whatever. Like so we'll be sharing our different lessons as we go, even when we're having similar experiences. It's kind of cool, you know, like we can be presented with the same experience and have completely different perspectives, lessons, and things that branch off of it, which is pretty cool.
It is. So I'd like to, like, I guess, end the podcast on like a bit of a high note. And talk just a little bit more, I think, about like just today, because I think today is a really important day, as in November 11th. But like last night, I came to bed a bit early, and I did a little tiny prenatal yoga restorative practice. And I haven't done one in a while, and I really need to I'm trying to make them a priority and keep doing them, because I'm getting down to the wire here with my
What did the Ouija board tell you about the...
I'm afraid to mention it, because what if it doesn't happen?
Well, if it doesn't, this is part of the journey.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is part of the journey. Like,
I know.
If we're guys, we could be like, guys, so our podcast is called Our Manifestation Journey, and manifestation is bullshit. Not that will be our message, but like, wouldn't it be funny?
Well, at least we could say the Ouija board is full of shit.
Whatever.
It'll be the first test, really.
Like, it's just we're so open to. We're just like, we're gonna try this stuff, and let's see what happens. So,
okay, the Ouija board said, so I'm due January 3rd, and the Ouija board said that the baby's coming on December 10th, which changes like a lot of my plans quite drastically.
But you've been changing your plans.
Well, like at work, I've been telling them, I'm like, guys, I just want to get stuff ready for December 1st, because we just don't know. Like, I could go technically with a very healthy baby anytime in December. So, like, I need to just be prepared for that. And so, when the Ouija board said December 10th, I was like, oh my God, that is crazy. So yeah, I'm getting down to, like, I basically have 3 less weeks, according to the Ouija board, than I thought I did. So I'm not banking on the Ouija board, but I'm definitely keeping it in mind. Like, I'm like, okay, like, this is a good test. Is the Ouija board telling the truth or not? I don't know. We should say the Ouija board did say that this podcast is awesome.
Yes, it did.
It did say that.
Yeah.
It said that we need to keep doing it. So we're gonna. So yeah, props to the Ouija board. But anyway, so I was doing yoga, and I had like a really nice kind of relaxing restorative. It was only like 10 minutes. Little tiny session. And then I sat up after Shavasana, which you can't really do when you're pregnant. You have to like lay on your side and blah, blah, blah. But I sat up, and then I just got into this interesting, like, oh, excuse me. Again, it sounds so loud in my ears, but I know it's not. I got into this, like, meditative manifestation mode, and I was just, it's gonna sound really creepy, but I was like rocking back and forth. Which just, I don't know, felt good, I guess, at the time, but I was just rocking forward and backward and like hardcore manifesting. Like, just, I've been doing this new thing. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last podcast or not. I don't think I did. I've been doing this new thing where I'm calling it like time traveling.
Okay.
So I'll do it when I brush my teeth, or I'm in my car, or
Oh, okay. Okay.
right, where
You're kind of like in a meditative state sometimes, doing those I don't want to say mundane, but like those
just the tasks,
those
that you do.
zoning out tasks that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I'll imagine being in two places at once, because the key, well, one of the keys, I guess, to manifestation that we're learning is that you are supposed to be grateful for where you are, but eager for where you're going, right? You're supposed to feel both of those feelings simultaneously.
Right.
So the way that I've decided to kind of combat this, or like feel both of those things at the same time, because obviously the nature of wanting more is because you don't have it, but you're still supposed to be grateful for what you have and pretend you already have it. So I've decided to try this, like what I'm calling this time travel thing, where, you know, I was sitting on the ground and I was really grateful for this room that I'm in, because Sam made it look so pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's really pretty. And then, so yeah, I'm like really grateful for that. And I'm really grateful for this space and the roof over my head. And, you know, all of the abundance around me and the comfort and knowing I'm going to go to bed soon in these really comfy sheets that Sam picked out. And I'm just so grateful for all of these things. But I was also simultaneously picturing myself in my new bedroom in our new dream home. Doing yoga on the floor in my new bedroom, in my new home. So I was in two places at once. And I could imagine being there and imagining that I was back in this room.
Right.
Right? So this room was the illusion. This room was the daydream.
Right.
And where I was my reality. And I was feeling grateful in both places.
That's amazing.
So this is a new thing that I'm trying.
That's fantastic. I want to do it.
I do it what I was doing when I was brushing my teeth, you know? Like, I'm like...
Brushing his teeth.
She loves it when I say that. It's a quote from The Office. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I, you know, close my eyes and I'm picturing being in the new bathroom and picturing that I'm already in that new bathroom, thinking about how far I've come and being in this old bathroom. And being in two places at once and feeling grateful for being in both places.
Oh my God.
So that's like the new tactic that I'm trying. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because today is November 11th. And it's supposed to be like, you know, the portal is open. Manifest like a boss. Like, you're supposed to manifest like the shit out of what you want right now.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to sort of end this with. Like, let's encourage that. Like, take 5 minutes. And sit there and maybe try to be in two places at once and see how it makes you feel.
I think that's a really amazing idea, and I cannot wait to do it. I can't wait to try it.
It's so fun.
Yeah, that sounds so great.
I think
you guys should do it.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening.
Everybody. Everybody do it.
All 15 of you. Okay, that's a high number. I'm joking. All 7 of you. Yeah, I think it's worth a shot because it makes me feel really good, and
it's so exciting.
I mean, you won't be listening to this on November 11th, but you can still do it, and it does still feel good.
Of course you can.
And it does, you know, make you feel grateful for where you are and also excited for where you're going.
That's freaking sweet.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
That's a great way to end.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So happy 11/11/11/11 day.
That's right.
And thank you so much for listening to us. I hope you gained some sort of something out of this.
This is great because, again, like, I'm so excited that we are back.
Yes.
And we are back.
There's so much to talk about still. That was just kind of a catch-up of last week.
Right, but now the momentum is back. I feel like we had to take a break for life reasons, and that's cool. But now I'm starting.
Our sister got married last week. We should probably say, like, congratulations.
Congratulations.
That's why we were so busy.
Yeah, we were busy. busy. But
yeah.
Yes, so the momentum is coming back to us, and we're just so excited.
Can't wait to share more.
Can't wait.
And learn from each other and, figure out all of these experiences that we're having and use them as just more motivation to keep going. Like
Right.
each day I'm realizing there is an opportunity to learn something new and
Yeah.
to gain some new insight in order to like keep this momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still working on that, and we're excited to share all of those experiences with you
Yes, we
if
are.
you want to follow along.
We hope you have a wonderful day.
Yes. We would like you to, well, if you would like to, review the podcast, that would be great. Or like share it with somebody, or comment, or go over to our Instagram and leave us a message there. We're so happy to.
It's at Our Manifestation Journey.
Yes.
Pretty simple.
Important. Yeah. And you can listen to it on Podbean and it's the Apple
iTunes.
iTunes, Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
I guess we should put it on more platforms here soon, but anyway, listen on one of those platforms, and get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm.
We would love to hear from you. Yeah. So we hope you have a lovely, abundant, joyful day.
Yes, we do.
Wishing you all the joy and love and abundance.
Bye.
Okay, bye.